thing that sticks in my mind is, so we actually, as part of Bookiezy, we really cared for our customers, and giving them a good movie experience was something that's really top on our list. So unfortunately, when we closed down, not a lot of people were happy. Unfortunately, as rules of life go, you can't make everyone happy all of the time. So that was one of the biggest scars that, some of the customers were not extremely happy about it. But the idea is you have to do what you think is right. Which also means that, yeah, okay, if you gotta pull the plug, you gotta pull the plug. And if you gotta take care of your customers when you're going out, you should do that. And to the best extent possible. I mean, of course, until unless you make it irrational, that's a different thing. So I think that was one of the biggest scars. And just coming back to the divorce point, I mean, it's great, but I don't think entrepreneurs should ever look to VCs, for validation. Which is, oh, okay, you're a successful serial entrepreneur, so this one's going to be a big hit too. Because, I mean, as far as history is concerned, there are a lot of entrepreneurs who failed, and one of the biggest stories is WebPlan, which created later on some of the high-profile executives of Silicon Valley, like for example, Randy Commissar of KPMG and so on. So there are a lot of instances. So you just got to put that behind you. So I think that's a key, like how you deal with that and how fast you turn around.
Yeah, I think different companies take a different approach, different level. There is also a need to know basis, right? So for example, in my company, everybody knew we had money till March. Okay, there was no question, and we need to achieve this. The business plan was known to everybody, and they know that we are running out of money. With the business plan numbers, and we have to raise money. But they didn't know that we are going to shut down the company. Not all employees. There were some employees who knew, but not all employees knew that we are trying to change the completely, shut down our services and move to the business model, which makes everybody, including me, redundant. That, of course, only few people knew till it was announced to them. But I think there are companies which I know some companies which used to be in my portfolio earlier as a VC. There they used to give the employees the company cash flow, the revenues, cash flow balances, and a whole lot of stuff. There are extreme examples, but it's a balance between need to know, but what they should, in a broad sense, know. That's actually important. When I tell my employees that by March 2009 you're going to run out of money, they also work hard, right?
Okay, some experience from me actually. Orangecap is basically a fully bootstrapped company. We don't have venture funding at all, right from day one. See, one of the things that we did when we started the company was get some initial services. The previous company I worked for, I built a reasonably big product in the insurance space, which got sold over to Accenture. But I didn't go and join Accenture. I founded Orangecap, but Accenture had a dependency on me, so I had a bargaining capacity because I had proprietary knowledge on the product that they thought they didn't buy me actually. So I had a good bargaining capacity to get some $500,000 contract, which actually funded my company to do the startup basically for the product idea. But if one thing I would redo, I would actually redo this particular step. While it gave me a safe option to start the company without external funding, it looks less riskier because you have some revenue in there. It actually sucked 1 year of our valuable time. It actually delayed our product launch by 1 year, which is very, very precious, which we didn't realize. Neither I had the expertise to realize at that point in time. But if I had to do it all over again, I would still say no to that bootstrapping, using services approach, and go approach some VC and get some money and start it the proper way.
And yeah, it's never easy. I mean, guys, there's different constituencies involved in a good startup, right? We have investors. Our investors are employees in the US that were co-founders. Almost every single employee of TechTribe in the US had put their savings into TechTribe, down to the tune of $500,000, right? So it's never easy to basically let go of people. But the things that we did right, this area we did some things very, very well. The entire team, extended team, beyond a certain level, above a certain level, knew day to day what was going on. So month by month, when we sat down and communicated, here's where the numbers were, here's where the graphs were, people saw what we were doing, right? You knew how much cash you had in the bank. You knew what the reaction from the investors were. And the senior management and the level below that knew exactly what was going on, so it wasn't a shock for anyone. When we realized that we wanted to do this, the first thing we want to do is conserve enough cash to give you another 6 months or 1 to 3 months, so you don't have to rush into taking the wrong decision, right? So the first thing we did was we shut down US operations as the best we could. Out of 10 people, we shut down 8. We just left 2 for core pieces, transitioned a bunch of work to India, because it allowed us to give ourselves 3 to 6 months to think through what we're going to do, right? And when we realized a few more models after trying it that it doesn't work, right? We communicated very openly with the employees. It was a tearful moment. These are family members. I consider co-founders and people who work with me to be family. I spend 16 hours a day with them and 3 hours with people that are around me in my house, right? So I spend my life with these guys and girls. But they're family. We had tears and everything else, right? Honest to God, we went through terrible times. And these are tough days. And you've got to do what you've got to do. Nobody said entrepreneurship is all about the highs and the highs, and when you succeed, and when you fail, it's easy and you just walk away. I personally placed phone calls to place every single employee except one in India. Personally got everybody a job within 2 weeks. Thankfully, we knew a bunch of people, and personal recommendations got everybody placed, except for one person who betrayed the company, and that I won't stand for. There was revenue coming into the company, and this person called the customer and said they tried shutting down. That person I didn't help, and I still didn't help this guy. Ethics is something I stand behind, but everybody else, we did what we could to stand by it. We gave them 2 weeks of notice as best as we could. In some cases, you can't, because you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you know you've got 45 days of cash left, and you tell every employee out there, the next 45 days are worthless. So it's a balance. But you do the best that you can. You've got to answer to yourself. So we didn't have any issues around.
Audience questions?
I have a question. Recently I saw a video. Recently I saw a video on the internet. I'm not sure where. I'm not sure.
Yeah, let me answer the question from the VC side. What kind of companies VCs fund? Right? I mean, that defines what kind of companies kind of need VC. So basically, let's look at the VC business model itself for a moment, and then then you can figure out what kind of VCs. When we say VC, we are limiting ourselves to very early stage VCs who put in anywhere between half to a couple of million and probably more during the life cycles, right? The VC's business model works on 50 to 60% failure, right? Which means 2 of their investment should return their fund, if not more. So their average return expectation is 5 times to 10 times their investment in each of the portfolio company they invest. Eventually they get it in 2 out of 10 or 3 out of 10. That's how their economics work. So if you have a compelling business case which can visibly, which you can build a model around and sell the idea saying the investor can make 10 times money, those kind of ideas will get VC funding. That's a very mathematical and financial way of looking at it. And so basically the idea has to be big. There has to be some very exciting element of it. It's a game-changing or new market, whatever the standard stuff. But essentially, if you factor it, if you see if you can show a visibility of 10 times money in 5 years' time, I think you have a case for a VC. Any business.